What's up, guys? So, obviously, per the series, we're talking about the 3 different gene types or genetic types of ball python morphs or paint jobs. We have recessive, codominant, and also dominant. We did a short little kind of clip, or not so much clip, but we talked about it briefly in the intro to the playlist, I guess. But this video is going to be about recessive. I cannot go over and give a complete list of how many different recessive genes there are, nor can I do that with the codominant, and I'm not even going to bother with the dominant. There's just way too many genes to try to list them all, and quite frankly, more and more keep getting added as the years progress. New discoveries, so to speak, new lines as well, and it's a lot. Okay, a lot of them can be their own genetics, their own genes, whatever. A lot of them also can be different combos that make them this in particular. For instance, with the recessive genes, you have panda pied, which actually is a 2-gene animal. It is the piebald, which is the recessive, as well as super black pastel, which is 2 copies of the same codominant gene of black pastel, getting that from a dark complex snake to a completely almost black. They vary depending on the quality of the expression or quality of the gene. You can have not so much contrast, but you can have high quality and low quality, high end and low end. Typically, the black pastels are going to be your more jet black animal when you have the super form. But you need that to make a panda pied, which half of that animal is recessive. When talking about recessive, again, that is like we're talking about in pieds. Pied is recessive. You have all the albinos are recessives. Almost said all. Most of the xanthics are also recessive, with red xanthic being a super form of the codominant het red xanthic. It makes no sense. Some of these names people just pick out of a hat. I don't know. I don't understand half of it, but that's that. When you have recessive, you need a copy of said recessive. There's different lines, at least 3 different lines of albino, but you need the same exact line of albino to produce offspring that yield that exact albino. For instance, you have lavender albino. I'll put a picture here. You have regular albino here. If you pair them together, you will get 100% normal looking animals that are double het, heterozygous. They have the gene, but it's hidden. You can't tell that they have the gene. So that animal is not going to be any type of albino, any type of visual albino. You would have to breed a lavender to a lavender, or an albino to an albino of the same line. Excuse me. And that works the same way with xanthics. For instance, VPI. VPI is my favorite line of xanthic. You have to have 2 VPI xanthics, one here and one here, to make offsprings that are VPI xanthics. When you breed 2 visuals together, 100% of your litter, 100% of your clutch should be that visual recessive gene. If you breed a visual recessive, let's say pied, to a het pied, so visual pied to a normal looking animal that carries the hidden gene of pied, 50% or less in some circumstances Some will say between 50 to 25% will be visual pieds. So you will not get 100% of the clutch to be pied. Now, if you breed a het to a het, you have a 25% chance or even lower to get a visual animal. Now, even though if you breed a het, normal looking animal that carries the gene that is hidden for piebald, pair them two together, you can produce a clutch full of nothing but pieds. But the likelihood, obviously, of that happening is very slim to none. If you want to ensure you're going to produce pieds, you want to pair a pied to a pied. And that's the same with anything. Any recessive genes. Okay. Any recessive genes, you want to pair them together in order to ensure that you will produce that visual gene. For instance, clown. Put a picture of a clown right here. If you want to have, say, a clown and a leopard to make a clown leopard, you would need a clown as well as a clown that is leopard, or a leopard het clown. Otherwise, if you pair just a leopard to a clown, you're going to produce 50% clowns, 50%, you're going to produce 50% leopards and 50% normals, all 100% het for a clown. So you would have to pair a leopard to a leopard, brother to sister at that case, to get even a super leopard clown. When it comes to these reptiles, there has been no issues recorded of complications or with complications due to line breeding. Line breeding is brother to sister, son to mother, father to daughter. Any way you want to look at it, there's not been any issues recorded. It is not the same as with, say, dogs, for instance. Obviously, if you breed a brother dog to a sister dog, you can end up with dogs with paws on their foreheads. They might sound cool to you, but they're definitely not, and it's definitely nothing that anybody should go for. Anyways, again, if you breed, just to kind of recap, if you breed a visual recessive, so pied, to a normal, you will have 100% het pieds. No question about it. If you breed, say, one of those het pieds to a normal, your offspring will be 66% het, which just basically means that it's possible that those offspring, the offspring of that clutch is het for pied. Yes, you can get your full clutch to be het for pied. You would have to prove that they are het for pied before you can say that that is what they are. So instead of doing that, people will say that they're 66%, some say 50%, and some say possible het. All means the same thing. You cannot be 100% sure that that animal is het if it was produced from a het to a normal. The only way you get that 100% het is if you breed a visual to a normal. I'm not going to put pictures every time I do this, guys. I'm sorry. It's a lot of editing. My editing skills aren't that great, so bear with me. Anyways, yeah, so if you breed a visual to a visual, you will get that exact visual. If you breed two different visuals, doesn't matter whether they're two different genes in themselves or two different lines. For instance, two different genes like a pied and an exanthic. You will not get a visual pied exanthic. If you breed an albino to a lavender albino, you will not get an albino lavender albino. Just will not happen. You need two copies of that same recessive gene, that same recessive line, to produce a visual of that animal or a visual of that gene. Anytime you mix those, you will get double hets. again, a pied to an axanthic will be a normal looking animal that carries a hidden gene, or in this case, 2 hidden genes, making it a double het pied axanthic, or double het axanthic pied. It does not really matter which order they go, which order you list them in. To some people it might. I haven't experienced that issue, so there's that. But that's really all there is when it comes down to the recessives. If you guys have more questions on the recessive, leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer them the best I can. If you guys are curious as to what genes may be recessive, leave a comment down below. Ask about that gene. Please do not ask me to post a list of recessive genes. Just please ask me if you have, if you just want to know if this specific animal or this specific gene, sorry, I can't even talk, is recessive, and I will answer it down in the comments for you guys. All right. Hopefully you guys like the series. I'll get on to the next video. Take care.